welcome to the Intuitively Wild podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Levine. Living intuitively wild is about coming back home to ourselves. Here, we talk about how to live connected to ourselves, others, and nature, and make a commitment to radical authenticity, vulnerability, and acceptance. On this podcast, we delve into a wide range of topics that span the human experience. We peel back the layers and talk about the things that are often not talked about. This is a space for us all to walk and wander this path of life together. Let's dig into our roots and go deep. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our monthly ritual episode of reflecting on the month that has passed and setting intentions for the month to come. And it's definitely bittersweet to say goodbye to September. It was my birthday month, Virgo season, autumn equinox, so many things that I love, but I feel really excited to be walking into October. I feel a lot of hope in the sense of renewal. I mean, October, Samhain, is the witch's new year, and I definitely feel that energy, but we're going to get into all of that later on, and more so in our Samhain ceremony episode coming later this month. So stay tuned for that. But let's talk about September and the month that we are saying goodbye to. Let me start with some space updates. So for those who are new here, I am in the process of creating a physical space for Intuitively Wild, an in-person space in upstate New York. And it's been quite the journey. I've definitely talked about that in past episodes, so you can go back, especially these monthly solos. That's where I've gone into it the most on the podcast. I also have been documenting it on Substack and a little bit on Instagram, and I'm finally starting to share more on Instagram. I'm finally starting to feel ready to do that because it finally feels like things are starting to move forward, and I feel less raw around it all. As I've been talking about here, everywhere, this whole year really has been an in-between transition year for me. It was September of last year that I officially decided to open this physical space, and then it's been a process, it's been a journey, and there's been so many unknowns. And once I found the place and signed the lease, just getting the process started, I initially thought I was going to open in July, and then August, and then September, and I finally let go of the timeline, and now there is more of an ease and a softness to it all. And there's still a lot that is unknown, but things are starting to feel more exciting than overwhelming, and I'm so very grateful for that. I also, a couple weeks ago, I don't know what time is, but a couple of weeks ago, I was hit with some permits for the space that I was not anticipating or expecting, and I've been really nervous about the timeline of that, how long that's going to take and what that all entails. But this month, I was able to move forward with a lot of that, and it actually was all met with a lot more ease and support. And I really have learned that sometimes you just have to trust that people are supporting you. Like, people want to help you, people want what's best for you. And even if that's not the case, going in with that mindset and knowing that if that doesn't end up being the energy, you will figure it out. But I think going in with best case scenario mindset is something I'm learning is helpful, because then you are going in with that confidence. You are going in with that trust. And it also impacts the energy of the person that you are meeting with. So I have felt really supported this month with the people I've been working with, and I am so very grateful for that, whether it's the unbelievably amazing interior designer, Brooke, who I've been working with, who will be on the podcast this month. I cannot wait. Or the plumber or the health department. Everyone has been helpful. And I yeah, I'm finally starting to feel ready to share more. And as you might hear, I'm sitting outside. We also have been getting hit with some unbelievably beautiful weather this September. And for that, I'm also very grateful because October brings anxiety around the colder weather for sure. So you might hear some outside noises, but I just couldn't pass up I am using every single opportunity I can to be outside. And I hope you hear the sound of the woodpecker and my neighbor's kids being dropped off from school. But yeah, things are moving along in this space, and I still don't know exact timelines when the launch is going to be, but I'm starting to get a sense of things. And if you do want to stay up to date, I highly recommend signing up for the waitlist. It will be in the show notes because that will give you all the behind the scenes and details and first looks at everything, VIP access to events, the opportunity to sign up for first dibs on everything. Even if you're not in upstate New York, I would love to have you be on that waitlist, be part of that community, hear your thoughts. And I really hope for this to be a place of deep community, but also a destination that people can come to when they're in upstate New York or in New York in general, because this area is so, so beautiful and everyone should visit. So that's that on that. But the biggest theme of September is that September revealed to me just how much I'm craving simplicity. Craving so much simplicity. And for a few days over my birthday, took some time off of social media and also just decreased external stimulus in general. Less podcasts, music, TV shows. I already am very discerning, but I am intaking so much noise and stuff, as we all are. And I also was able to have a little spa day in the mountains near my house on the Friday before my birthday and just take a tiny little mini pause. And it brought to the surface even more strongly how much I'm craving simplicity. To just do one thing at a time, to really slow down and be with each step, and to be with each present moment version of me. Because not only do I want to be with this version of me in this chapter of life, whatever that quote is, I will only be this version of me once, and I want to be with her. I want to know her. Yes, that. And I feel myself actively becoming someone new, and I want to be in that transformation. Like, I really want to observe it and watch it and be present for it. And I also think that this transformation requires that from me. I don't think I can go through it without that presence, because there are so many little nuances of me that are changing. And so it requires me to actively choose new beliefs, actively choose new thoughts, identities, stories. And if I were to have any excess, I can't do that. And I have felt that in my bones. This month I've been craving simplicity in my bones, and just knowing that simplifying is a lifeline. Like, if I want to step into this next chapter of my life, I can only do that if I simplify, because life has definitely been getting busier. It's been more full, and it's been feeling more alive and exciting, and also more chaotic and overwhelming. And I know a lot of what is coming in this next chapter, and I know that past versions of me cannot show up for it. And my intuition has been screaming at me, the only way through is simplicity. To simplify, to find ease, to choose softness. And so I've been choosing that, choosing to simplify. And to let the excess fall away and not rushing to find anything new to fill its place. And this is coming from the girl who used to think that success, whatever that means, and worth were contingent on how hard I worked. And the girl that believed how much, how quickly, and how productively I checked off the items on my ongoing and ever-growing to-do list was preliminary to feeling joy. I did not allow myself to feel joy, did not think I was worthy of feeling joy unless I ended the day completely depleted, did all the things at breakneck speed. And the girl whose body used to panic at rest and avoid softness at all costs, and who found peace and reassurance in burnout. But this month, I have been starting to find relief, peace, and support in simplicity. And I have felt this craving and this calling before. And sometimes in the past, I have even been able to lean into it, but there's always been overriding resistance. Because in the past, my body met this need with fear, discomfort, panic, and then actions giving into those emotions. So I would try to rest, and my body's response would be like, this is not safe, this is not okay, we need to do more. And so then I would do more. It was like the attempt of simplifying led to my thoughts bullying me. And so my lifestyle represented that. My thoughts said, you need to do more. You can't trust this piece. It isn't safe to rest. You have to figure out the next steps. You have to have it all together. The empty space isn't okay. And yeah, I would give in to those thoughts. This time, however, those thoughts have felt quieter, further away. And that's left space for me to observe them without becoming them, and to process them without acting on them, to acknowledge them without letting them take over my sense of worth, without them controlling my emotions, and without them prohibiting my transformation. Where once the peace and ease of simplicity was met with anxiety, shame, and self-sabotage, I can now actually feel the truth of the simplicity in my bones, in my body. I can actually embody it. I can feel the peace it brings me. I can welcome in the ease. And therefore, I can allow for the transformation. And so I've needed less input from external stimulus. I've literally felt when my brain starts to shut down and go into overdrive. After that little hiatus from social media, it was only a Thursday to a Monday. I went back Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday were like my only full days off. I went back on Monday, but since then, I have really kept some discerning boundaries for myself. I am really trying to only go on, and the only platforms I use for social media currently are YouTube. Well, I guess so. Mainly social media for me is Substack and Instagram. And so for those, I've been only going on max twice a day. Going on, posting, doing my things, engaging with what I genuinely want and feel called to engage with, and then getting off, checking messages, responding, all the things. Twice a day. And then limiting podcasts and YouTube to, which I kind of put in one, because when I watch, the only thing I watch on YouTube are interior design shows like Architectural Digest and Luxury Home Show. So I love those. I'm kind of obsessed. But yeah, I've been really limiting my intake of just noise in general. And that has been so helpful, and again has felt easier than ever before, because I've always tried to have boundaries with social media, and I always have, but these are even more strict and rigid in a way that gives me more softness and ease in my life, and it has felt easier to keep those promises to myself, because I've made them a promise. I've made that promise. I've devoted myself to that. I've made this promise to myself to lean into, to adhere to these boundaries, because I know that it is what feels the best. So that's where the rigidity can be really important, and like having some tough love for myself. And along with less input, I've also been feeling quiet internally and having this increased desire to listen more and just be, not taking in or spitting out, just being. And part of this has also left me feeling kind of disconnected from my creativity. That definitely plays a part in it. I think part of that is because I'm exhausted. And also I think part of that is because I'm in this in-between. And sometimes in the in-between, you're just being. You're just pausing. And that's where I'm at. And I'm definitely still on my journey with this, for sure. I have a long way to go, but the progress is undeniable because it feels so much easier. The last few months, and again, the whole year, has been a shedding, and it's been ushering me into the waiting room before the new skin arrives. Now I feel like I'm in an incubation period. I'm learning to be okay with sitting in the empty space between what was and what will be. Now I am more able to wait in the empty space, in the in-between, with patience, acceptance, and trust, and not trying to fill the void or rush into the next chapter, and just letting this chapter be exactly what it is. And each day, truly each day, and it really is kind of like a movie playing across my brain, but each day I watch old thought patterns and beliefs and identities and labels flash before my eyes. It's like a memorial of who I'm saying goodbye to. And the temptation to give in and crawl back into old skin and old patterns, old labels, old identities definitely pops up. And sometimes it still threatens to overwhelm. And yeah, of course, sometimes it does. Sometimes it takes over. Sometimes I act in ways that I don't want to anymore, or give in to those thoughts and let myself believe them. But I'm aware of it, and then I pause, and then I start again. I just continue to pause, observe, and choose anew as best I can in each moment. And now it is so much easier for me to catch the fact that these thoughts are not true. That these are no longer identities I want to hold. That I don't believe these thoughts anymore. That I don't actually feel them in my body. In the past, when I would have thoughts around like, if you're not exhausted, or if you're not working hard enough, you're not good enough, I felt that in my body. That felt true to me. And now 99.9% of the time, I don't. It doesn't actually feel true. I hear the thought, and I'm like, and there's like a dissonance in my body. My body kind of like rejects it. Like, foreigner, false, fake. And of course, they're still there. And if I don't bring presence and attention to them, they unconsciously creep into my actions and sense of self. It's the awareness that keeps them in check. It's the awareness that allows for new beliefs to take hold and new choices to be made. It's the awareness that allows for intention. Saying no to the actions, thoughts, words, opportunities that I know are not right for this time is not passive, and it's not inaction. In fact, it probably is the most courageous act I can take right now, and I know that because it feels that way. I know that because the opposite, where I'm coming from, is what feels safe and familiar and comfortable. And the simplicity and the ease and the softness is what feels really, really heckin' scary. And so I just want to remind you that thoughts are not facts. and you can't let your false thoughts lead to reactionary actions. Often we think our thoughts should dictate our actions, but when we press pause and bring presence into our thoughts, we can figure out which parts of them feel true. We can figure out which parts of them we need to kind of sort through and process, and which parts of them we need to simply let go of and not spend any more time with. And that pause brings awareness around our beliefs and then lets us choose our actions with presence. And that allows how we show up in the world to feel guided by integrity. And I know I'm not alone here. This increased need for simplicity is due to, yes, the increased chaos of my life right now personally, but also the chaos of the world globally that we're all feeling. For many of us, life can feel unreliable and unsteady right now. And so we sustain resilience through our self-trust and confidence. And we build self-trust and confidence through making promises to ourselves and keeping them. Devoting ourselves to rituals is a practice in making promises to ourselves and then choosing every day to show up for them. So my ritual of showing up for my tea ceremony every morning, journaling, that's a promise I make for myself, and I know that I can rely on myself. So I trust myself and I have confidence in myself because I am keeping these promises to myself through the way of ritual. Our rituals are a promise, a way of choosing ourselves. And through the follow through of that promise, we are building self-trust, confidence, resilience, and a sense of stability. So I really want you to think, what is one ritual you can promise yourself to show up for? One that will allow the shaky ground beneath your feet to feel a little softer. One that will remind you that no matter what, you can rely on yourself. And I want to go through a little suggestion ritual for the month that I will be doing. And it starts with choosing one area or situation in your life where you're feeling frustration, anger, boredom, resentment, or any type of way that you don't want to be feeling. And frustration, anger, boredom, resentment, those are the not self themes for each type in human design. So if you know your human design or know anything about your human design, you can kind of tap into if that feels true for you. So for example, I'm a manifesting generator. And for both generators and manifesting generators, the not self theme is frustration. So I know when I'm feeling frustrated around a specific situation, experience, person, thought, identity, anything, it's a sign that it's not right for me, especially if that frustration keeps happening continuously. For manifestors, it's anger. And since I'm a manifesting generator, if you're a manifesting generator, you might feel that anger as well. And for reflectors, it's boredom. And for projectors, it's resentment or bitterness. And the opposite of that is for manifesting generators and generators, satisfaction. For manifestors, and also if you're a manifesting generator, peace. For projectors, success, but that's in quotes. It's your definition of success, so you have to get clear on what that means to you. And for reflectors, it's spontaneity or excitement, surprise. And so those can kind of be guideposts for you to check in on what situation you might want to focus on for this month and your progress in that realm. But if that doesn't resonate with you or make sense to you, one, if it doesn't make sense, you can ask me any questions. But two, you can just let that go and choose any situation that comes to mind. But okay, so we've chosen the situation. Then acknowledge the feeling. You don't want to push it away or ignore it or make yourself wrong for feeling it. Meet it with neutrality and see if it has anything it wants to say to you. So say you sit down with your frustration and you just let yourself feel it, and immediately it says, I can't be in this job anymore. So you're making progress with it. Already you are being present with it. So once you've done that, we want to do something to physically release the emotion. So get up and shake your body, scream, cry, angry journal, talk it out, anything physical to move that energy through you, to release it, even if just a little. For me, often it's crying. I need to talk to usually my mom and just let out some tears, and that really lets out the pent up emotion. And sometimes the emotion comes back again the next day, and you just have to keep doing it and doing it. Especially if it's a situation that is very deeply rooted in our life or holds a lot of weight, it might take a lot of repetitive action to release the emotion. And really be kind with yourself here. You might notice how difficult it is for you to A, accept the emotion and see it neutrally, and B, feel it. Okay, then ask yourself, how can I bring more softness, ease, levity, simplicity, joy, satisfaction, peace, freedom, success into this situation? And like before, see if any answers arise right away. And then write down 3 ways this situation is going right for you. 3 ways it's actually working out. 3 aspects you are enjoying, or possibly 3 ways you can bring more ease into the situation that you have been ignoring. So even if the situation seems so horrible, it brings you so much anger, how can you see the ways it is working out for you? And this is not all to be overly positive or romanticize or gloss over. No, this is to just shine some light on the situation in whatever way you can. And again, it might take some time to be able to do that at all. And it can be the smallest thing. It can be like, I have 1 minute in the morning before I go to work to play with my dog. Okay. So write those down and then reread those aspects and feel the gratitude and truth of them in your body. Even if it doesn't feel fully true for you yet, even if you wrote down, I have 1 minute every morning before I go to work to play with my dog, and I love that moment. But even reading that, you're already feeling more frustration because you're like, I wish I had 10 minutes. I wish I didn't even have to go to work. Just try to lean into the sensation of the gratitude for that one moment. And then choose one action you are going to take from here to bring more ease and lightness into the situation exactly as it is right now. Exactly as it is right now. So maybe you're going to write, I'm going to leave work 5 minutes early and not talk to my boss in the parking lot. Perfect. I'm just making this up in my head. And if relevant or possible, also choose one action you are going to take to start to shift the situation into a new direction. One that moves you toward your ideal situation or bigger picture changes you want to make in your life. So maybe you start to look for new jobs and you're like, every Sunday this month for 20 minutes, I'm going to look for new jobs, or I'm going to paint. Just something that is moving you towards a more long-term full solution. And then you want to commit to some aspect of this ritual every day for as long as you need. The steps in this ritual can happen over a span of time if necessary. Perhaps you spend the whole month just feeling the emotions. Perhaps you don't get to the last step until the end of the year. It doesn't matter. Sometimes sitting with feeling and releasing the emotion is a ritual we need to repeat for weeks before we're ready to move into the next step. And just be really present with yourself. Trust your process, and also don't stay stuck in self-sabotage, shame, fear, old patterns, or uncomfortable restrictions just because you don't know what's on the other side. Sometimes giving into the emotion every time is your body's attempt at keeping you safe in the familiar. So sometimes you might start to, for example, try to feel that gratitude in your body, and the frustration just gets really overwhelming. And so you want to be like, okay, I'm not ready to feel the gratitude yet. But maybe that's not true. Be willing to try the next step, even if you don't yet feel ready. And be willing to sit in the discomfort of that frustration, of that quote unquote negative emotion. I think willingness and curiosity is such a big part of this. Are you willing to try? Are you willing to see the situation in a new light? Are you willing to bring more joy, levity, simplicity, ease into your life? And again, letting yourself feel more ease and simplicity and joy and peace and satisfaction and all the things doesn't mean that you are settling or not trying to move things forward or make changes. That's not it at all. It allows you to make those changes from a new mindset, from becoming a new person, from embodying a new energy. And all you have to do is just make a promise to yourself to show up to some aspect of this ritual every day for the next month, or however, maybe it's once a week or whatever feels right for you, and then show up for yourself. And just see how you feel and who you are at the end. Okay, that's our ritual for the month. And my intentions for October, my greatest intention is simple. It is to embrace simplicity. Less is just right. More is too much. That's how I feel right now. My daily ritual is asking myself, how can I make this situation simpler and more easeful for me? How can I soften? In a world where we're trained to believe more is always better, I'm seeing that sometimes more is just more. And even more so, sometimes more is way too much. I think it's time for all of us to simplify and shed and just shake off all the excess. There's just, we're going into Scorpio season and season of the witch, and the dead skin is just sitting on top of the new, and it's waiting for us to shrug it away. It really is time for us to just let ourselves transform. So that's October. That's what I'm feeling. Allowing us to simplify, and through that, I think the biggest transformation will come to pass. Mainly because we've done the work to get there. We've done the shedding. We've been in between. And if we just let ourselves be in the in-between, the new will meet us. But if we try to force the new to come faster or avoid it or revert back, it will never get there. So by simplifying and getting rid of as much as we possibly can of the excess and then just pausing in it, we'll be met with the new on the other side, the transformation we've been waiting for, even though it might be really, really scary and uncomfortable. I, as always, am really excited to see where we are at the end of this month. I would love to hear how this resonates for you. I would even more so love to hear how your September went, what your intentions are for October. If there's any promise you are making to yourself for this ritual that you want to confide in me, I would love to walk that path with you, hold the space with you, do it together. For me, I have a couple, but one is definitely maintaining this promise around how I'm showing up online and taking any information in any way. I would love to hear yours. Okay, I will see you all soon, and definitely keep in touch on Substack and Instagram. I'll be sharing more updates of the space, and I'm starting a new series on Substack this month, which I'm really excited about. That is very much in this witchy season theme. So stay tuned there, and I will see you all next time for more magic. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Intuitively Wild, the podcast. I hope it helped deepen your connection to yourself, sparked some insights, and inspired you to live intuitively wild. If you enjoyed this podcast, it would mean so much to me if you would share it with others and leave a rating and review. And please reach out to me. I would love to connect with you. I will see you next time for more magic.